What's up, tubers? Man, I'm tired AF, but my biggest problem with this juiced Hyper Scorpion right now is the noise from the front brakes. So I'm going to attempt to remove the caliper from the bike. I'm doing this with the wheel on, and then I'm going to pull the pads out, and I'm going to look for something rubbing. Oh, never done it before on this bike. I know I saw on a video. Oh, look at that. First time. There's a pin right here that goes all the way through the pads. It kind of keeps it in. I'm just loosening that up right now, so I won't have to be fighting that. One thing that I don't like right here, I wish there was a little bit more flex on that tube. I mean, it's tight from here to there, but I just wish there was more flex on it. I think typical China shit, they tried to save an inch on the total length of this. 1 inch times, 2,000 bikes, it's 2,000 inches. It adds up on paper for them. That's just the way China does their crap. 5mm on these nuts right here. This pin thing going through there, that's a 3. And I've got ratchets right there. China, I don't know if you can see this. They don't know what they're doing, but their intentions are fair. There's some blue Loctite right there, but if you look at where this thing bolts up, the Loctite needs to be on the end of the thread so it goes into the fork. So the Loctite's really not doing any, if at all, good on there. Ooh, let's keep an eye on that. So that's the bottom one. That's the top. Washer came off of there, we'll get that back on. And the spacer, oh, it tells you, it's got an arrow for up. Now, let's pull this off. I honestly cannot see anything that looks like it would be rubbing aggressively on there. So let's remove the pads. Let's get that pin completely out. See some Loctite on there, and it's in the proper place. And then these pads, you just push from the top. They come out on the bottom. Alright, so here are the pads. Those are your numbers and your shape and your style, and there's a spring in there. Let's get it where we can look at it a little better. Alright, so I'm still under 200 miles. They're already getting certain wear characteristics. That I don't really like. That bottom one there. I didn't pay too close attention which one was inside and outside. It doesn't matter. but it's obviously not going back the same way. And the springs, they don't look messed up or anything out of the ordinary. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sand these things down with some sandpaper and see if that makes a difference. For those of you asking, that's what I used. A Ryobi sander. There you go. Now for the reinstall. Goes back the same way it came off, in reverse. There's nothing you can do to get this wrong. You shove it back up inside there. Remember that pin we took out? It goes back in. And if the pads and the springs and everything are not properly positioned, this can't go in. We'll come back and torque you later. Now, you got plenty of room, slide that on, put that bracket in place, top bolt, find the threads, get them started. Same with the bottom one. Now you're in for a bonus too, because I'm going to show you how to adjust if they're not already adjusted. So you want to get them right before they're tight. Right before it even snugs up. If you go too far where it snugs up, back it off 1/8 of a turn. To where it's still got some movement left and right. And so, leave a little bit more, still got some movement. Movement is there if you move it. Here it's a little bit looser. It'll go a little bit tighter. So here is how you adjust them. Your disc is like this. Your calipers go like this. And then the caliper bracket on top needs to be kind of perfectly centered with the action. So at this point here, pump the brakes a couple of times and you see it tweaking, moving a little bit. Looks like it's not aligned, and that's probably why we're getting squeaking. It's when you crank it down, it's going in like that. That's our problem. It should, when you crank it down, it should just all be equal. It should not be at an angle, tweaking down like that. There you go. See, look at that. Now, I go like that. It's coming out like that. Push that in, push that, push them both in. Ah, that's where we got some adjustment issues. Right there. I kind of like that. Now I'm also looking down the disc and I can see the equal play on them. And before, it had looked like it was at an angle. Let's see if we can get this to where it stays. But I can tell you what the problem is. The tolerances of the brake, if these are true Tektro brakes, which are the bottom line of the Shimano brand, you know, entry level, bottom line, if they're true Tektro, they are what they are. Odds are these are China clones that are made in a factory. They bought a couple of discs and they took them apart and cloned it. But what I was saying is the flanges on the forks. These are no-name, generic China clones. They're not Rock Shocks, they're not Fox Shocks. There's no name on here, and they leak like a doo-doo. Look at that. Not even 200 miles, and I've cleaned this off several times. Slowly but surely, the forks are losing all their oil. But that's another video. Look at that. All right, so anyways, we're back together, we're tight. Let's crank down the center pin, which we didn't have torqued. Torque values. Don't overanalyze this shit, man. It's in the car. You're not a race car driver. Just get it to where it's snug and it feels good. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people go, well, what's the torque value on this on the wheel? It's tight. Torque value equals tight. That's it. All right, man. Let's go take it for a test ride and see if we got squeaks left, and if they're gone, let's see how long they stay gone. All right, if you're wondering what I just did, I found a bottle of water 20 feet away from a trash can, so I stopped to pick it up and I put some water on the discs. I read on, or I saw on YouTube video about that to finish setting the brakes, which I think is all bullshit. Well, that was a waste of everybody's time. I just went on an 11-mile quick ride, 40 minutes or so around Park City. And the brakes squealed the same exactly. So next thing will be, I'm going to try new pads. I found pads online for anywhere from $6 to $20 or so. So sorry about that, man. Hit thumbs down. Don't subscribe. See ya.